I'm Mike Messier, and welcome to Short Film Showcase, where we feature the very best in local short films, and we have in-studio guests. On this episode, we have Talli Clemons and Christopher Nunzio talking about their work in the Boston area. And if you're a producer out there and would like to have your short film on the Short Film Showcase, be sure and contact our producer, Bryan Casey, at bcfilms.net. That's Bryan Casey at bcfilms.net. On this episode, we're starting off with Talli Clemons on the Charles Flannery piece, Let's Talk Real Estate. Let's check it out right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Hi, welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Charlie Flannery, and my guest today is an actor and a police detective, Mr. Talli Clemons. Detective,
how are you?
Welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate.
Thank you, thank you.
May I call you Talli?
Absolutely.
You can call
Absolutely.
me Charlie.
Charlie, what's going on?
All right, thank you, Talli. I had read about your story, and we made contact. And I know that you had a very sad loss in your life.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you want to share it with the people. I know it must be tough.
Yeah, it's very difficult. You know, a couple of months ago, I lost my wife.
That's tough.
She was killed.
Oh.
And, you know, due to my line of work, I have no clue why. I don't know if it was a random act of violence or if it was directed to send like a direct message to me. I'm reminded every day when I look at my ring, and you know, she gave this to me and she said she loved me. And one of the things I regret is, you know, due to my job, and I'm a hard worker and I do it all for my family, and sometimes I get lost in the, you know, the work.
We all do.
You know, exactly.
As men, it happens to us, you know.
So, you know, I'm in the streets, I'm running around, I'm doing tons of overtime, and I never got the chance to tell her that I love her before she left. And, you know,
It's all right,
it's
man.
been, yeah.
Only the phony tough are afraid to cry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, excuse me.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah,
so I know that you've been on the police force for how long now?
About 15 years.
Yeah? And when did you make detective?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
That was a clip with Talli Clemons right here on the Short Film Showcase. And now, we have Talli Clemons in the studio.
Mike, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, good.
We've known each other for a little while, and we've always had a good time working on sets together.
Yep.
Surprise, surprise, Crosby Tatum's piece, you and I met.
Yeah.
But how are you doing? How are you, what's your process? How did you get inspired in acting, Talli?
It's inspired pretty much, I started going to a few plays and watching actually a few of my friends take the stage. And theater never was really what I wanted to get into. It was film, and I had an opportunity to perform on stage, and I took it, and I love it now. But just seeing some of the people that I actually know take the stage, get in front of the camera, and actually do it themselves is definitely a huge inspiration.
What was that play that you saw that kind of motivated you?
It was about Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, their meeting together.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, so I actually had the opportunity to perform Aaron Douglas in the Harlem Renaissance. So, yeah, just to, you know, because I knew a friend of mine was going to take the stage and perform, so, like, in my head, I was like, okay, let's see what this is about. And he got up there and he nailed it, and I was like, wow, I'm inspired. And,
Nice.
yeah, it's just awesome thing. It's been an awesome experience with the theater piece.
So it's one of those things where you saw one of your friends do something, and you're like, hey, if he can do it, I want to give this a shot, and now you're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, acting has always been a part of my passion. It was either sports or becoming an actor.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I'm just shooting for one of the goals, and it turned out to be acting.
What was some of the sports that you liked?
I played football, basketball, baseball. I was really good in all sports, all scholastics. Yeah, MVP most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, top scorer. That's my thing.
Some of that leadership and motivation that you can apply to sports is right there with acting too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Pretty much when I'm on set, I realize that I'm part of a team.
Right.
And the best way that I can, you know, benefit to the team is just doing the best that I can, try and complement the other actors and doing whatever it is that I have to do to play like my role and my part.
Right.
So,
You've done some things, or you've shared videos and very motivational things to myself,
yes.
where you've talked about just inspiring yourself and inspiring others too.
Yeah.
To just go for their dreams.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What do you? How do you feel now about like younger people coming up, and sometimes people can be discouraging to younger people, and what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, bottom line is, as you may know, acting, people look at it and some are like, yeah, you know, a lot of people don't see the hard work that goes into acting. They see the finished piece and they're like, wow. So most people think it's easy, then they step in front of the camera, they step on stage, and it's a completely different, like, whoa, they don't see the travel, the time spent into, you know, building character and stuff like that. And so families are gonna say, you know, a lot, and I mentioned this in the interview, family members, friends, et cetera, are gonna tell you, get a real job. You're not going to get anywhere. So many other people are doing it, like, you know, and it's hard for people to have you know, believe in you and think that you're actually going to go far in acting. And so, like, one of the things I know for myself is just personally working on myself in general. You get to that level where it's kind of like, you know inside that you can do it.
Right.
So all the other stuff doesn't really matter because you know, once you allow that stuff to penetrate you into thinking that you can't, there's a good chance that you're either going to stray away and to do something different, or, you know, you may go backwards, you may go forward, but, you know, your heart is your heart, and no one can tell you, like, much about what's going on in your heart, you know, so.
It can be like a plague, you know, when the negativity of others surround you, and
Definitely.
you know, and then you just got to fight that and do what you want to do with your life.
Yeah,
Because
pretty
we
much.
only have one life.
Only one life.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure enough.
Let's tell us about some of the projects you're involved in now, Talli.
I'm involved in so much right now. You know, I've landed some new roles. I've been in TV interviews, BNN, the Charles Flannery Show. I've had one with Harrison Blake. Right now, we're filming Honky Holocaust.
Okay.
And that is attacking racism in a way I've never seen.
Okay.
It's a fearless movie coming out sometime this summer.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of stuff. I just landed a gig in a project coming up called The Chain. Let me get this right. Sabet Toué, I believe. Probably didn't say the name right, but yeah, Bryan Casey.
Our producer. You're going to work with Bryan. That's great.
Yes.
He's got some potential.
So yeah, there's just Bryan's awesome.
Yeah.
There's so much that I'm doing right now. Music videos, radio interviews, short films, feature films, a lot of stuff coming out that I'm losing track.
Well, you just ingratiated yourself into the whole process, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you and I are pretty active on that. One of our previous guests, Erica Derrickson, does the Hollywood East Actors Group right there on Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Love
and
her.
you and I are both kind of
Yep.
contributors in our own way to that.
Yeah, definitely.
And do you think that social media as a way to kind of get the word out, is that helping the cause of independent film in the area?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, anything that can spread the word, to me, is a plus. You know, I use Facebook, I use internet a lot. It helps. It kind of gets you out there, gets your name out there, and, you know, it's actually a way where people can actually watch you and start to believe in you.
Yes.
You know, so yeah, it's huge, and like, you know, community is extremely important. You know,
Right.
especially in this industry alone. If the community is not tight or together in some way, you know, it's going to be weak.
Yeah. Well, in this specific area that we're in, New England, it's like there's this good points and the not so good points, and we try to concentrate on the good points, obviously.
Absolutely.
You know, with what you're doing, with what we're doing with the show here, It's very, like I said, you had a video on Facebook, very inspiring about talking about being self-active with your career, and that's great. Speaking of which, you have a clothing company that you are working with. Tell us about that a little bit.
Three's Clothing. It's actually not my company, but you know, the guys who are running it, they're real close to me, man. They've been in touch with me before the acting started, when it was just like a thought.
Right.
And they've pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. Like literally, I went out. I was on foot walking around places, asking for help. Can you help me? Can I get involved? And people were literally looking at me like,
right.
Come on. I mean, even people who knew me, Talli, are you serious? And there was really no way to kind of like prove I was serious, because I didn't have any footage to show them. I didn't have much of a resume to show them. And you know, I walked up to a clothing brand literally and asked them, hey, would you mind allowing me to do some modeling for you? You know, I'm pretty known in the neighborhood. And, you know, so Three's Clothing kind of took me under their wing and was like, hey, man, try this on. Let's take some shots. Let's do some DVDs. You need any help, we'll help you out. You're not feeling that well today, you know, lift up and get it going. And, you know, they've just been a motivation. Like, they've been extremely motivational to me. Like, just that push. And you know, they're a clothing brand and they're doing the same thing. They're spreading their business around too, and they kind of pulled me in with that too. So
like a family, like a support system.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great.
You know, so after Talli, Clemons wears Three's Clothing.
Okay.
And supports them too. So
well, I'm looking for a shirt myself.
Yeah, you can get one.
Me and Bryan Casey.
Yeah, hey, why not?
Clothing, why not?
It looks pretty good.
I know.
Things happen when I wear that clothing brand.
That's good. When you're coming up as a younger guy, and you see certain actors in a movie, like when I grew up, same thing. Some of the actors or actresses or both that kind of inspired you?
I always say this, you know, I love Denzel Washington.
Yes.
I like Jamie Foxx for the fact that he's just so multi-talented.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's so many. Scarface, the movie, you know, my man, Al. And see, I'm the type of person, like, I can't narrow it down to one person. Like, the movie, the character, all blends in one. But, you know, actors in general just kind of motivate me and inspire me, because I know the work they put into doing what they got to do. So, you know, that's just to name a few names, but we could sit, that's a whole nother interview to go through the list and why, you know, but yeah.
Well, some of the guys you mentioned, Denzel Washington, I mean, with the role he did with Malcolm X was just epic performance in an epic movie.
Definitely.
And Al Pacino, I mean, goes without saying what he's capable of.
Yeah.
Booyah.
Booyah. Yeah.
Sometimes we ask questions like this. If you were to work with any collaboration, or any collaborators as far as a director or an actor or actress that you would like to do some work with in the future, what comes to mind for you?
Actress or actor? There's not many actresses that I wouldn't want to work with.
Yep.
Just kidding. But again, Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
I just think we can complement each other if I was to have the opportunity to be side by side with him and doing our thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know,
totally.
but like, again, like, this has been my issue with sports too, narrowing it down to that one player or that one team.
Right.
It's just something that I love in general.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to get on stage, to be able to perform, be in front of film, it's just, I love it in general. So, and like the locals, there's a lot of locals that I would love to work with as well. You know, I mentioned this before, one of the joys of watching film now is actually knowing who's behind the work.
Right.
Like, that's like more fulfilling than even watching, like, you know, going to the movie theater and watching a big Hollywood film or something on TV. It's a little different when you look at the TV and you see someone you actually know.
Right.
You know how hard they work. So I've been into that a lot of short films, a lot of local films, and people who I actually I'm in communication with or know.
Right.
You know, so.
Well, it's great that when you're involved, like you said, involved in a piece and you see that prosper and grow, you know, and blossom, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the pieces we're going to see here on the show. Sure. We've got Beantown Threes, and then we've got the Target. Give us a little overview of these pieces before.
Okay. Yeah. So you know, the Threes Clothing brand, they came up with the DVD, and they kind of went around and started interviewing the locals, mostly music artists and stuff like that. But you you know, I'm an actor coming up from the inner city. They did an interview on me, and they actually put the interview on there, as well as a short film piece that I did with Wax Hug Films at the end of the interview. The Target is directed by Wes Williams. He gave me a call one day, knew I was doing my thing, and asked me would I come down and give it a shot, audition for a role, and I did my thing, and we filmed. It's an excellent piece. I play a drug dealer in that scene, and it's a pretty good scene. Yeah. You know, check it out. I mean,
when you and I and other actors take on these roles that are kind of on the edge, like a drug dealer, like a I've played the thug. You know? I've played the bad guy a few times.
Remember.
Talking about surprise, surprise. We worked together a little bit.
Surprise.
But some of these characters that are kind of on the edge, is that fun for you? I mean,
it's all fun.
Yeah.
It's all fun. I really don't have nothing negative to say about my experience, except for, like, you know, there's just some projects that are a little bit more intense, extraneous, like just the grueling process sometimes, and you know, the struggle to actually get the footage and stuff like that as an actor is kind of tough. But you know, for the most part, my experience has been wonderful. You know, I like to say I'm very observant, so I watch, I learn, I pay attention, I'm taking direction, and just being able to get outside of myself and, like, literally, like, whatever's going on outside it's not going on when I'm focused on my acting. You know what I mean? When I'm in the moment and I'm playing a role of a character, really not much going on there. It's kind of like freeing, you know?
Great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, you're the type of actor that directors want to work with because you're focused and positive attitude.
You know?
It's great, Talli. It's
Yeah.
awesome. All right, well, we're going to take a look at some of your clips.
Okay, cool.
Thank you very much, Talli. We'll have you on again.
Definitely.
Thank you. That was Talli Clemons right here on Short Film Showcase. Right now, we're going to take a look at some of Talli's work. We have Beantown Threes, and then we have The Target. Talli Clemons right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Lotus blossom don't cry without any sun. 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 Lotus blossom don't cry.
What's going on, y'all? It's Threes, you already know what it is. Beantown Beans. Local actor, man, Talli Clemons, man. We on this DVD thing, man. You know what it is? So, right now I'm introducing y'all to my man over here, man. He been doing this thing for a while, all through Boston, Massachusetts, a bunch of places, man. He's doing this thing. He's an ill actor, man. What's happening, y'all? I'm actor model Talli Clemons, taking these folks to the neck of the woods, Threes up. Just about to give a little knowledge about myself. The Phil's Corner right here, South Street in Geneva. To be exact, spend a lot of time out here in the streets. Seen a lot of soldiers fall. My local store right here, we do what we want around here. It's a good thing to give back. You know, coming around, I've been acting for about 10 months now, and things is just beautiful. I can't even express the love that I'm getting, not just from my neck of the woods, but out in the suburbs, out of state, everywhere you name it. Clothing brands, as you can see, I'm rocking the Threes. I'd like to give a big shout out to these fellas, man. They've been supporting me since the jump. You know, even when I wasn't doing my acting thing, man, these cats been there for me. Right now, we're just gonna show y'all what it's like, you know, up and coming, man, the struggle, you know. All that glitter's not gold, although we're doing our acting thing and doing the clothing brand thing, we still gotta fight through the struggle like everybody else. You know, it's no different for us. We still fight, day by day, fighting and fighting and fighting. Main thing, don't give up, keep pushing. Right now, we just put out a little something with our Wax Hug Films. It's called I'm Leaving You. We got the vocals done by Heidi Rosario. She killed it. That's a good thing right now. I'm filming also for a movie called Off Track, Screaming Wolf Films. I'm doing a little something with Pertinent Films right now. We're doing a reality series called Life on Cue. Peace. It's a thing called
it's actually Malfi's video that's coming out real soon. I played a Deadbeat Dad in that video. A bunch of things coming on. August 10th, I'm performing Aaron Douglas. If y'all don't know who that is, that's a person from the Harlem Renaissance back in the 1920s. He's also paved the way for artists, actors, entertainers, and such. You know, a little something about history. So come check that out at the Croxon on Dudley Street, August 10th. What else I got going on? So much, man. Right now I'm doing this again, doing everything day by day, and just trying to keep motivated, positive. I just landed a role with Bloody Hammer. They gave me a lead role in their film that they got coming up. Any actors out there who's interested, even if you've been thinking about it, give me a holler. Talli Clemons. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I'm in the neighborhood. I'm in the suburbs. I'm in Greater Boston. You can check me out anytime. My arms are open. You know, just let me know. There's a lot of roles to be played, man. And it's serious, man. Not only that, man, it's therapy for me. I don't do it just because I love it. I do it because I got to. This is how I eat. You know what I'm saying? This is what I do to get outside myself. Because it's hard being yourself every day, 100%. You know, to go to this neighborhood, to go to that neighborhood, to be around this person and that person, and remain the same. It's not an easy task, because people always want you to switch up and be what they want you to be. It's time we all start doing what we got to do for ourselves and being who we got to be. Three's up.
Lotus blossom, don't cry.
I can't really say favorite, but the gangster scene, you know, I lived that for so long. You know what I'm saying? I've been in Baltimore. I lived in Ohio. I'm from right here. And there's gangster all around these neighborhoods. It's been my life. Like, you know, I really like the characters where it pushes me to be something that I'm not comfortable with, something that I'm not used to. Like I'm saying, that if you watch the Wax Hug video, I'm Leaving You, I'm crying through that. That's something I was real uncomfortable with, man, was crying in front of another man, photoing me and doing my thing. And like, it's beautiful, because at the end of the day, when I finish something like that, it's just like, wow. You know, it broadens everything, you know what I'm saying? Because the more gangster character roles that they're gonna expect that from me. Yo, that's Talli. You know, he's been doing that type of life for a while now. We expect that. But then, like, to see me crying and get emotional over a female, that's not Talli, man. Wow, he just nailed it. Or to do a comedy, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, like, I want to show folks that I can be, you know, I can be that actor that can do comedy. I can do gangster. If you want me to play down and be a professor, I'm gonna do that too. You know what I'm saying? It really doesn't matter. Like, the minute you say action, whatever character it is, that's what I'm gonna play. And so, like, as far as my favorite, like, I don't have an exact favorite, but I do enjoy some characters better than others, and I must say that it's the ones that kind of bring me out of the norm. You know what I'm saying? The ones that kind of take me to a whole nother level. I'm gonna say definitely one of the main things is to accept the word no. Accept the word no, because as long as you're getting some no's, you're pretty much doing something. Don't expect to get a yes from everything, because they don't know you. People don't know you. You come up and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to act. They're gonna look at you, and if you're not what they're looking for, they're gonna tell you no. They may not tell you no, but you won't get a response. Secondly, follow your dreams. Because see, this is something that most people are gonna look at you and they're gonna tell you, why don't you get a real job? Why don't you go another direction? What is acting gonna do for you? Everyone's trying to do it. You can't make it. There's 1,000, 100,000 of other people trying to do the same thing. But if you know in your heart that that's what you wanna do, you gotta shoot for it. And then, like, you know, if you see someone doing something that you wanna do, be humble enough, man, to go up. Just go up. Hey, how you doing? I'm such and such. Can you just let me know how you're doing, you know, going about your business? I'm with CP Casting. I'm with Boston Casting. Anything that asks you to pay for before you get any gig, stay away from it. I put one name out there, particular, Explore Talent. Stay away from it. They want your money, and you can do more groundwork than they can do for you on any given day. The best thing I got out of them was some daggone cards. You can do that on your own. And like, keep it real. Just keep pushing. Don't let nobody tell you that you can't do it. Again, you can feel it in your heart. You know what I'm saying? If it's your passion, you're gonna love it and shoot for it. Again, not everyone's gonna look at it like it's a big, great thing. But then when you make it, that's when everyone's saying, oh, I knew you can do it, I knew you can do that. So just show yourself, man. Don't do it for everyone else in the beginning. Do it for yourself because you know you love it. Again, check out some of these casting agencies and get their emails and have them email you what's coming up, the events that's coming up in your local area, or if you have the money to travel, give it, you know, hit up New York, hit up California. There's a lot of stuff going on in New Hampshire, and there's tons of stuff going on in Boston right now. There's a tax break going on. Governor Deval Patrick signed it, boom. So they come and film in Boston pretty much for free, man. Like, it's just a given. So it's a bunch of stuff going on, and take advantage. Go to as many auditions you can, open calls, and submit yourself for everything. Even some of the things you don't really particularly like to do, submit yourself for, because, you know, I'm doing theater. And this is my background right here. You know what I'm saying? Theater is definitely a no-no. I had to do theater because it taught me how to act. It taught me how to perform in front of the camera. Not only that, do live performances in front of the crowd where you really don't have room to mess up and make any kind of mistakes. Main thing, set nose, keep pushing. Don't let nobody tell you different, man. Don't let no one tell you that you can't do it. And if they have doubt in you, just prove them wrong. You know what I'm saying? And it's pretty much because you're doing something that they have fear of doing themselves. They just can't process it right now. You know what I'm saying? When people can't process it, that they don't know, they fear it. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, close the gap, man. Don't let no one stereotype you, man, and put you in a category. Break molds, create your own path. Keep pushing. You know? So pretty much, man, I met up with a guy named Ray Raxug. He gave me a call one day, heard about me doing my acting thing. He was doing mainly behind the scenes and hip hop videos. He wanted to get started in making movies. He gave me a shot, we met up. It's Wax Hugs Films, I'm Leaving You, at the Talli Clemons, myself, and the talented Heidi Rosario. She's in it, she does the vocals, lays it down. We filmed in the back, so the South End by Back Bay Station, over there by Mass Ave Station. It was in the back, we went up and down the streets there. We got real creative. He had something in mind. He handed me a letter, told me what to do. The man was on point. Boom, boom, boom. He made everything easy for me. It was wonderful working with him. Again, that's Wax Hug Film, WAXHUG Films, I'm Leaving You. That's the title. And again, it's actor Talli Clemons, myself, and the vocals is done by Heidi Rosario. Man. We killed it on that one, man. It's 1 minute 29 seconds. All you gotta do is hit play, man. Share it if you like it. Keep it to yourself if you don't. But it's definitely a nice little twist at the end, man. Something that's gonna make you think, man. Not something that, you know, is just out there. It's not your regular thing. It's a twist. Something to think about. Definitely for you players, man. When your feelings get hurt, man, don't go chasing the girl down after you know what you've been doing, man. You've been doing it, man, and then, like, you get hit with those feelings yourself, man. That's something that we all need to think about prior to being that player, man.
That player.
Like, you know, that dude who's just, you know, you got everything until, like, you realize when something's gone, now you boo-hooing and hollering, man, and, like, we all been through it, man. You know how that go, man. So, like, it was an honor, man, to play that role, man. And, like, again, we nailed it. It's a quick little skit, man. You can just check it out, man. Hit play, man, and hopefully you enjoy it and you share it, man. Support your local artists, man. Support your local clothing brands. Three's Up again, man. I can't thank these fellas enough, man. Like, you know, I'm on Facebook. I'm hitting the likes, man. I'm letting them know, like, yo, it's Three's all day for me, man. That's all about Boston. This is my Boston peace sign. When a brother goes like this to you in Boston, man, it's all peace and love. Remember that. Three's Up. Talli Clemons, TALLICLEMONS, Talli Clemons, Twitter, Facebook, you name it, even Instagram. Check me out, I'm taking photos, doing my thing. I put that shit on everything, like the hot sauce commercial. Talli Clemons on it. It's Talli Clemons, new short video on Three's DVD. On Three's DVD. What's up, Nugent? On Three's DVD, man, we about to shoot this video, man. Shout out, nothing but love, man. Again, Three's DVD, we will holler, man. Wax Hug videos, Wax Hug Films, I'm Leaving You. Check it out.
Hey, yeah, I know you probably got the letter and you threw it away. There has been something that I have been trying to say to your face. All I need is a minute, and it won't go to waste. But I also need you to stop crying so you can hear what I say. The things you've done to me, they fill me with disgust. The way you've treated me in this marriage is unjust. Thus, walking out is a must. Chasing skirts out of lust, you done lost my trust. So I'ma bust out before I combust and cut off your nuts. And you'll just have to adjust. There is no more us. You hear my acting skills? I should be in Beverly Hills. They thrilled you enough to pay all our bills, and I was steady saving. Man, life's amazing. I'm sorry. Back to what I was saying. Time is a-wasting. I don't mean to keep on procrastinating, but I know your blood will boil hotter than the Sahara when I tell you that I'm leaving you for your sister Sarah.
My name is Nilla Jones. And I'm the most deadly assassin in the world.
Hey, honey.
Most of my clients are the white-collar types that hire me to take out the competition.
I'm on my way home now. Late night. The company acquired for $130 million today. 10%, of which is my bonus. Yeah. I know, honey. I'll tell you all about it when I get home. Okay? Love you.
Shut up. Some of my clients hire me to kill their cheating wives. every now and then, I even get a target of some drug-dealing piece of...
He's been waiting out for like 20 minutes now.
You want this time? I got time to be playing with you niggas.
You got for 3-2 though, right?
3-2. Of course.
Alright. It's 3-2 right there.
Alright. Yo, Ma. Come here, why don't you let me holler at you for a second? Man, she's sexy. Man. How you doing? Pretty good. I'm good. What you doing out here so late?
Just walking,
Just walking, huh?
Just change,
Yo, if you don't back the away from my car, I'm gonna give you something to beg about. What's wrong with that?
But don't judge me. Sometimes I'm in a situation to do some good.
Hey, cutie. Oh, you look tonight. Oh, I'm riding the train of love.
If you've heard of me, you fear me. Because I'm always one step ahead.
My name is Jack Stryker, and I'm the most deadly assassin in the world.
That was Talli Clemons' work right here on the Short Film Showcase. And now let's take a look at a preview from our next guest. It's a trailer for A Life Not to Follow with our next guest, Christopher Nunzio. Let's check it out right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Look, Finola, last night I did something long overdue. And in doing so, I knew it meant my end.
Eric, you're not making any sense. What happened?
understand you two have been friends for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, since we were kids.
Then you know what has to be done. And you gotta do it.
I've been looking for Eliza for a long time now, with absolutely no clue as to her whereabouts. My instincts tell me this little angel is neck deep in it.
Everyone is disposable in this world. Everyone.
That was the preview for A Life Not to Follow. And guess what? The director of that piece, Christopher Nunzio, is right here in the studio. Christopher, welcome to the Short Film Showcase.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Now, you and I are, we have known each other through one of our actor friends. That's one of the stars.
David Graziano, yeah, great guy.
Great guy. And you've worked with him recently on A Life Not to Follow, which we just saw the trailer for. Tell us about A Life Not to Follow, Christopher.
Well, it's a feature film, and basically it's 3 stories. We follow the first story, follow a hitman, and how he's basically just confessing to his girlfriend everything he's done, and he's looking for some sort of redemption. That story ends up going into another mob story about 2 friends and how they have to be put against each other and the decision they have to make. And then it goes into the third one, which stars David Graziano, and he plays a PI that basically is following this girl, Eliza Cushion, who has a connection throughout everything. So it kind of has, it's like 3 short films, but when you see it, it plays all as one piece, and it begins like 3 little chapters in this world.
They build upon each other.
Yeah, your characters come in and out of each other. They kind of work as their own piece, but they're all one big feature film.
Now, did you film these chronologically? Did you mix and match your filming? Or?
Mixed it a little bit. We actually, we did the, me and my writing partner, Pedro Alvarado, we're the ones who wrote it. And I shot the second part first, because I wrote that one.
Right.
And then and then also timing too, we were able to get this bar. We shot the first film is actually in a bar in Revere, and so we were able to get it with all the time and a little bit after that. So then we shot that one, then we shot the third one last. So a little almost quite long.
I've seen the preview and I've seen just a little bit of this movie, and it seems like your production value is just through the roof. So how I'm assuming on a limited budget, how did you get your production values to look so wonderful in this film?
Well, I've been doing film for a while now, and I always consider myself a student of filmmaking. I always study, trying to research what I can do. But a lot of it has credit to my cinematographer, Nolan Yee, and these beautiful German Carl Zeiss lenses. If I could tell you one thing, if you're going to invest in anything, invest in lenses.
Okay.
But a lot of it had to do with the cameras we're shooting. We're shooting these great high-def cameras. We had real top-of-line lenses. We did the whole beg, borrow, and steal thing.
Right.
Picking out locations, my whole family's from the North End. We have connections there, so we found areas in the North End. You can pretty much point a camera and you're looking at cobblestone roads and everything. So that fills the frame up very nice.
Right.
And also I'm a photographer as well, so I'm always looking at things in a certain way, and we're both visual. So really it's a combination of camera, understanding shots and framing. Also getting the right people casted is huge.
Sure.
I'm very big in the missing scene. Anything that's fills in the frame is important. One thing I always know, especially when people do smaller films, they hate the bit parts.
Right.
Even though they are so important to the film, the outcome of the film. But so it's just a combination of knowing framing, understanding framing, knowing the equipment and your capabilities.
Christopher, are you also the producer on this work? Or?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so as a producer and a director, I would think that sometimes you have to have this inner argument, like, what do I want to do as director? And producer says, what can you do within the confines of our logistics, our budget?
Yeah, and I always have a great attitude of this. I guess the model is always what's good for the film.
Right.
So even sometimes in an editing room, I would see some shots that are cool and creative, and if it really doesn't tell the story right, I will throw it away. That's something I don't think I could have done when I first started.
Right.
But now I really have an understanding of if you do whatever you can to help the film, everyone will look good, and it will be not. You can't guarantee everyone's going to like it, but it'll be a solid piece. And so, yeah, you do have a little inner fight, but you kind of take your places. You kind of, one day you're a director, next day you're the producer. You know, you kind of can work that way. I can work that way at least. And
are you an editor as well?
I'm an editor as well.
Okay, so you got the whole thing down.
Yeah,
that's great.
And that's another thing. I recommend if you're going to edit your own piece, let someone do it first.
Right.
And because that's where you fall in the line, where you start keeping things you shouldn't keep. But,
right.
But again, when you have that mindset of what's good for the film, you kind of can make those decisions, I think.
Do you have, we talked about our previous guest, Talli, do you have role models that you look at as far as directing, producing, guys that have kind of made their mark, or women that have made their mark?
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, for me, what started it all was Italian filmmaker Dario Argento.
Okay.
I remember in high school, it was, I saw Suspiria.
Yeah.
And I was just hooked. I thought horror was art, and it was just beautiful. The colors that filled the frame was just amazing, the way he did things, and I immediately got hooked, and it became an obsession.
I feel that way about his daughter, but that's his daughter, right?
I love his daughter.
The actress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Asia Argento, she's beautiful too.
Yes, and she was, I believe she was the star of Triple X with...
Yeah, she was in Triple X. That was one of that. She did that, and Land of the Dead's her big kind of American type of film in there. But she's done some other stuff that's pretty good. She's a good actress. I like her.
So, so him and anyone else that you can...
Yeah, as I got older, there's a lot of the old Italian filmmakers really do it for me. Michelangelo Antonioni, Sergio Leone. Like a lot of like a lot of those styles, that contemporary type of stuff. And I'm always finding someone new. Just recently, I found this Hungarian filmmaker, Bela Tar.
Okay.
And I've been watching some of his stuff, and I just blown away by some of the things he can do. And now I'm kind of like on that kick.
Nice. And when you watch these films from other filmmakers, does it kind of get into your system, and you're like, man, maybe even subconsciously, it's like, this is the type of thing I want to bring. Not the same thing, but just being inspired to push it to the next level, to bring your own aspects of it, to kind of mix and match these influences.
Yeah, I always try to absorb it and let it get into my unconscious. Like I don't ever want to say, oh, I'm going to take that exact shot.
Right.
Which we know, would be okay. I mean, you learn by seeing. I mean, you learn to walk by watching other people walk. It's kind of a thing. Art imitates itself, and that's all good. But I do try to, when I watch a film, to just let it wash me over and don't try to pick it apart. Sometimes they just pop out, and you're just like, oh my God, what are you doing? But other time, I just let it try to absorb as much as I can from it, and try to just watch a lot of works. And yeah, I guess in some sense, you do see some stuff and want to be like, when I started, Argento, using the colors, use of color, saturating things, was definitely something I borrowed from him.
Nice.
And even the style, they did a short film called Miscreant, and it was, the whole style was that old Giallo film where you don't know the killer, you see the guy in the black gloves. And so I did a whole film like that, which was pretty fun.
Was that your first piece, Miscreant?
That was my first piece that I used a real actor and started submitting. I did a bunch of, art films and stuff like that when I was taking classes at museum school.
Okay.
So, but that was my first kind of, I guess, the thing I sent and played in a couple of festivals, and that was that kind of started it, really.
And that had to feel good when you were first starting out. You're sending your piece to festivals, and it's getting accepted, and just that little bit of a roller coaster ride that just starts you off.
Oh, I love it. I love getting to festivals. I love the whole thing about it. I just think it's so fun, and you know, festivals are great because you're getting recognized for what you did.
Right.
And it feels like, you know, you're appreciated. No matter what your attitude is, you want to be recognized. It's just a fact. You know, you don't make a film so it stays in the closet. I want as many people to see it as possible. Festival allows you to do that, so it's always exciting to be accepted.
Well, a theater actor is going to have that immediate rush of the audience, but a filmmaker, to edit and to promote and to get your film into a festival or a local screening, whatever it might be, and to have that audience laugh or cry or cheer or boo your piece when you're watching it with them, that's got to be a rush, right?
It really is. I did a feature film a long time ago called Livestock, which is kind of like my student film, basically. But we screened it, and I remember when people were grossed out in the parts that were supposed to be as a big crowd, and then people laughing at parts they were. That was just, I was like, oh, wow, people are getting it.
Right.
It's pretty cool. There's a good feeling when you can have someone react to your piece, and that's I think that's the main goal. Is you always want someone to react and be involved in what you're doing.
To be provoked, as it were.
Absolutely, yeah.
What is some of your process with working with your actors, Christopher? How do you?
Well, working with actors, well, basically, I always have a bunch of notes on my characters. I believe a director doesn't instruct as much as he inspires.
Okay.
And so I do encourage my actors very much to add to what's going on, and I allow them some room, and it's a yes or no, keep doing there, that type of thing. But really, it's just more of just giving them the notes, seeing what they have to say, rehearsing, experimenting a little bit, and then just on set, if they're doing something right, encourage it. I try to be a minimalist as much as possible, because I just, I think it was Polanski I heard talking a long time ago about, if someone's walking in the room, you don't need to tell them to walk in the room and pick up the phone like this. They know how to do that.
Right.
So sometimes you get an actor's like, what should I do? I go, well, you've got to do that. Just go, what would your character do? You end up asking a lot more questions sometimes, and then, so it's it's a combination, giving them, you don't want to restrict them.
Right.
And I think a lot of young directors sometimes do that. I remember when I first started, I would tell them so much stuff.
Right.
I would give them so much information beforehand, and even if the person was Einstein, they wouldn't absorb all that.
Yeah.
And you can do more harm that way. You just confuse the actor, they become a cardboard cutout. And it has nothing to do with real intelligence, it's just a matter of how much information one human being can take.
Well, then they're looking over their shoulder.
Yeah,
thinking,
you don't want them to do that.
Mike or Christopher are going to not like what I just did, and instead of being free to kind of inhabit the character.
Absolutely, and I do the best I can to, it's definitely understood I am in charge.
Right.
But at the same time, I do the best I can to make sure everyone's comfortable, they know what they're doing. And again, just really, once you get it, once you find what you have, encourage it and keep encouraging it, and see what happens, let it evolve.
You do any acting yourself, Christopher, or not so much?
I've tried some just to see what it's like.
Yeah.
And I'm bad.
Okay.
And I don't really have a desire to do it either,
Yeah,
but it's just one of those things, people's like, you should do it. I'm like, no. And then one time we were doing this short film on the fly, and I said, you know what, let me just play this small role, because I would love to see what it's like. And I like, one of the reasons why I like writing and directing and making films, I like different perspectives. I like to see certain things. So I was like, it's a different perspective, try it.
Okay. What's your next piece? Do you have anything lined up for after Life Not to Follow? Because I know you're still putting the final tweaks on that piece. And to your credit, you guys have had a quick turnaround from filming into the editing process. So you got Life Not to Follow coming up as far as the release. And do you have anything planned for after that?
Yeah, I have basically just a script I've been writing. It's another feature film, and it's still on the crime type of era, type of genre, I should say.
Yeah.
And not much to really could say. It follows like a hitman, and he works with different families, and it becomes a very cohesive, confusing type of plot. And but there's not too much to really discuss on it because it's still developing. And then we have an outline for if Life Not to Follow was to make some sort of success, and we have some ideas to take it in if we wanted to do a sequel to that.
Nice.
But not too much. Right now, it's definitely making sure Life Not to Follow gets finished. As you said, we did have a quick turnaround. I do like to work fast.
Yeah.
And part of that's because we spend a lot of time in pre-production. But right now, it's basically just making sure we're going to fix up the audio, get some score thrown on there, and then we got to screen it and get that baby out there.
Nice. Sounds really good. I mean, it's just impressive that a young guy like yourself is coming up and making movies that really, really look great, have strong storylines. You're getting the best actors in this area. And one of these questions that sometimes we like to ask is, in the future, you have any actors in mind that you just say, man, I'd really like to work with such and such or such and such? Anyone like that?
No, not really.
Okay.
Because the way I look at things, I look in the future of film is more on what other story can I tell.
Okay.
And it's always like, what do I want to stay in another crime film? Do I want to go back to roots as I started out as making a lot of horror films? And so it's always what type of story I want to tell. And then as that develops, it's kind of a process after then seeing who it is. But if I did have to throw someone out there, I guess I'd throw, I've always been a big fan of Al Pacino.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, I mean, to work with him would be, I don't even think I could. I'd probably be terrified.
Well, maybe not. I mean, what piece or pieces did you see him, real quick, because we're running, but what 2 or 3 movies of his that you really like?
Well, obviously The Godfather is just absolutely amazing.
Right.
Just in film in general, it's just amazing. But I love The Godfather. I even like his role in Heat. Just throw another one, and even Scent of a Woman.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one that everyone makes fun of him for his lines and stuff like that. But it's great. He's great in it, and he's just even what was Dog Day Afternoon.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love that film.
I saw him recently in Bobby Deerfield, which even that was pretty good.
He's good. I don't want to trash any movies, but even when he's in a movie that's subpar, he's still amazing.
Yeah, he still kills it. He's great. Okay, now speaking of great actors, we have our buddy David Graziano. We're going to see a scene, I believe, from A Life Not to Follow right now.
Absolutely. This is a scene with, it's the opening of his segment, and it's he plays the PI, Tobias Kane, and he's basically driving to a crime scene to meet his buddy, Detective Sylvan.
Well, great, Christopher. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me
Nunzio
on.
for being on the Short Film Showcase. Right now, we're going to take a look at a scene from A Life Not to Follow, a scene starring David Graziano right here on the Short Film Showcase.
Can't believe that I'm still up. Got a call from an informant who needed help, so being the good Samaritan that I am, out the door I went. I had just taken an Ambien and 3 fingers worth of rye. My insomnia kicked in again and I've been up for 3 days straight. This would make it number 4. I've been doing the private dick thing for about 3 years. Before that, I used to be head of the Boston FBI's organized crime unit. That is until I got a little bit overzealous with the case and some head with an axe to grind snitched on me. The media caught wind of it and the powers that be decided that the Bureau's reputation was worth more than my 20 years of service. So out on my ass I went. At least my time put in served me well. I got a full pension and a severance package. You gotta love a federal job. No matter how badly you f***ed up, they will always let you walk away with all of the perks. This particular informant is a local cop. I helped him work his way up from walking the beat to detective back in the day. That cat has been so grateful ever since, and so have I. The one thing I've learned about this racket is the more people are in your debt, the more willing they are to help you out. Give to get and all that jazz.
That was a scene from A Life Not to Follow, starring David Graziano in a feature film by one of our guests, Christopher Nunzio. This has been an outstanding episode of the Short Film Showcase. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. We've had Christopher Nunzio and Talli Clemons as our guests, featuring their work. And if you're a film producer out there and would like to have your short film on the Short Film Showcase, please contact our producer, Bryan Casey, at bcfilms.net. That's Bryan Casey at bcfilms.net to have your short film on the Short Film Showcase. And for all you would-be filmmakers out there, remember, if you can dream it, shoot it. I'm Mike Messier.